Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Happy Wednesday. Today I'm going to be doing the next pack of the Fanhome release, a build the Back to the Future DeLorean.
Are we back? We're back.
So stages 52 to 56 today, which means we're going to be putting a bulkhead in, putting the last of the wires in, the wires that we started in issue 48. We're going to finish that this time, but we do now get to put the circuit board and start to put the electrics in. So this is going to be something you probably want to focus on if you are building this, because this is the heart of the Back to the Future DeLorean. Forget the flux capacitor and all that. The electrics is where it's at. We're going to make sure we get that all right. Now, I don't know if this is still available, but you can check your territory. It's in the video description there. There's also a QR code on the screen, but without further ado, let's get cracking. So if you remember in stage 48, we started doing all the wires for the car. Well, we're going to be starting on stage 52 by continuing to do all those wires. As you can see here, loads of internal wires in the car are going to be going in. So I'm going to be putting these extra wires in here. I'm also putting the handbrake in, and I'm tracing these wires along the door sill that we're going to be putting in as well. So it's looking like that. This is the rest of the magazine. So here's all the parts in stage 52. And as you see, we've got loads of cables in this. What we want to do is secure every single one of these cables together. So we've got the multicolored one. We've got a thick black tubing. I've got a medium-sized black tubing. And then finally, I've got a small black tubing. And I'm going to be using a cable tie here to bundle these together. One around that side there. And one just on this side here. Going to clip off the excess, bring over what we've been working on here, and if you look on the top camera, this is going to be going down the left side here. So what I'm going to need to do is bundle all of these wires here together and get it through the hole that we've got at the back just here. And I'm going to be feeding it into that clip there. So I'm going to need to open the clip, feed it in, and then close the clip again. There we go. That's all the wires connected through the back there. And the wires that are just coming from the back, I need to feed through into the 2 points just here. I want the wires to be level with the back of the floor pan here, like that. So put the clip in place to keep them in. The screw goes into the outer side of this section. Perfect. And with that in place there, we will be tidying this wire up. We don't actually do that yet though. What I'm going to do is put this to one side. Bring over the door sill that we're going to create. And I have got the handbrake here. Can only go in one way because we've got a lug at the bottom. Put that in like that. And once again, that's going to be held in with an AP screw. Just from the underside. And then when that's in place, again, bring over the floor pan. Just lift up this wire that we've got here. Put the sill in. So it's going to sit in that gap. And then what we want to do is we want to push these wires down the side of the chair like this. Perfect. Now I need to keep this into place, so I'm going to be using some FP screws. Here they are. And 3 of these are going to keep this into place. So they're going in these holes here. And there we go. That looks pretty cool. With that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 53, have we had the sweet release of cables? No, we've got more cables to do. So this time we are putting this extra long tubing here together, just like this, putting it into place, fitting the door sill on this side, and then we've got loads of cables. We're going to bundle all these together, and this is going to be going on the other side of the car, as you can see there. That's coming out the back, just like the last one did, and again, we're going to be putting it underneath this clip here. So that's what we're doing in those stages there. And this is the rest of the magazine. So here is stage 53. Let's get all this open. And the first thing we want to do is we want to take these two parts of piping here, and I'm just going to be putting the flat end over that end there, and I'm going to be screwing it in with an AP screw. Once again, let's just bring over what we've been working on. And it's this side now that we're working on here. Now, underneath this section here, we do have a hole. I don't know if you can see that on the top camera underneath the dashboard. We're going to be putting this end of the pipe we just created into that hole. And then the rest of it are going into these points just here. So you can probably see it on the side. And I'm going to be securing those in with FP screws. So one there. And one just here. Now while I've got this side of the car like that, I'm going to be taking the next door sill, and just like the last one there, this is going to be going into the points, the 3 holes just along the side, and once again FP screws to hold them in from the other side. So you should be able to see that on the top camera. So now that's that door sill in place. And now we've got all of these cables. We've got some multicolored cables with a plug on the end. I want to put all these cables together so the plugs are on the same end here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 cables. Let's get a cable tie on one side first, and then one just down this side. Perfect. Again, cut off the excess. And this time I want to make sure that the plugs are towards the back, and I'm going to be threading all of these cables at this end into the hole just here. Now the easiest way you can do this is actually just slide it in from the side, and it will get into that hole like that. Now I do want this cable to go on this side of that pipe, as you can see there. So let's get all these cables into that clip that you can see there. And there you go, that's those cables in. Now I will be trimming off the excess of all these cables until they're all in place, so I'm not going to do that. It is just a case then of folding these cables down on this side, probably best on the top camera here. So they are ready to come out of the side just like that. And that's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 54, looks like we've got the bulkhead now. So we are going to be, again, tidying some wires up, putting some wires out the way here. And we're going to be taking some wires we've already got in here, putting these into these control board here, getting this onto the bulkhead. Lots to do in this one by the look of it. Attaching the bulkhead in place and then putting some details on that, as you can see there. And that is the rest of the magazine. So I've got the bulkhead in this pack here. This is stage 54. So bringing the floor pan back over, we've got cables coming out here. We've got cables coming out here, just at the back. Let me just show you. But I do have all of these little cables here, these red and black cables. And it's these that I want now, looking like this. Now there should be 2 black cables here and 3 red cables. Now these are all going to be put into this tiny control board, and what they're going to have, I'll try and sort of talk you through this. We do have 5 holes, if you can see in there, and we've got some details that look like holes. It's basically going to go red, black and red, and then at the bottom it's going to go black and red again. So I'm going to get all these cables in. I will be gluing these into place. So what I'm going to do is put some glue just onto the top of each of these cables here and get these in. Now I don't know if you can see that, but they're all in just like that there now. I have put a spot of glue on there. Very hard to do because you don't really have much cable on here left out now. Now what we've just created here is going to be going onto the bulkhead in this position just here. So if I just kind of do a quick dry fit, it's going to go on like that. I want to make sure all of these cables are out the way when I attach this bulkhead. Every other cable we've got here needs to go through this center hole like this. I don't want any trap wires, so I'm just going to make sure they're all pulled through. That looks good. And obviously this control board that we've just created is still at the front of the bulkhead. These cables at the top we can just leave towards the front. They're eventually going to go into the back section of the DeLorean here. So let me just push this in. and get this into position. Now my goal here, which I didn't achieve that time, is to ensure all the wires are coming out that centre there. That looks good. Okay. Perfect. I've still got this control panel on this side, which I can now put into place. It is held in with an AP screw. So I've got that in there. I'm just going to screw this into this top hole. Make that tight. So just so you can see that cable at the back, that's how all of those wires look now. I'm going to be holding this bulkhead now. I know that I haven't got any trapped cables in it with FP screws here. They're going to be secured in just from the underside. Probably best on the top camera. I'm just going to get the two inner ones in first. That's excellent. And then just the two outer ones. Now the wires on the outer one here just need to come out of that little hole we've got, which you can see there. And then it's just one in this side here. Perfect. And that's that bulkhead in place. Can now just put this wire back through here. That's eventually, again, all of these plugs are going to go into the back board that's going to be here. Let's put that to one side. And the last thing we've got are these parts here that we're going to be putting together. So first off, I've got what looks like a fire extinguisher. That's going to go on this way, just into the middle there, held in with AP screws from the other side. And just one in this side too. And then I've got these two pipes to put in. Now these do have a locating lug. So this is a D-shaped plug. So this one's going to go in there. Once again, this is held in with an AP screw. That's one in. And the second one with the D-shaped hole is just going to go in this side. I do find putting the screw through first, so it comes out the other side there, will help you keep this in line. And there we go. Both of those are on, looking like that. Bring over the floor pan again. It's at this point that I've realised that this cable I've got here also needs to go on that side. I can't really feed it back, so I am going to have to just take this bulkhead off to get that repositioned. But I make mistakes so you don't have to, but it's this cable that I'm trying to free up. I'm glad I've done that because I've got a cable here which I had trapped as well, which I don't want that in there. And this one here, I don't want that in there. So let me just take this off. Now the only cables I want coming through the bottom here are ones with electric plugs on, not these two. So again, I'm going to have to feed these two through as well. You see, I definitely think it's important to leave all of the errors in. Because if I've done this, someone else is going to have done it too. And the reason we've done that is because the cable that I initially wanted to move here, which is this one with a square on, that's actually going to go into the box that we've just created. You see, we've got a hole for it there. So I'm going to put this in that hole. Probably best on the top camera. So it's sitting in there, just like that. Turn it over. And this is going to secure to this back box. We've got a locating lug here. Just into the position there. It's going to be held in from the other side with AP screws. So one just there and one on the other side here. And then with those two in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. So as you can see, all the cables we've got on this side have got plugs in them except for this black tube wire there. Okay. Okay, the penultimate stage of this pack that we've got here, we have got something different actually. We've got the bulkhead, some details for the bulkhead here. We've got a sticker in here. This is a really important part of the build, and I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. Putting this together, putting this board on the top here. Now this is going to support the circuit board. And then putting this into place, making sure the chair's back into position, and then this sticker. When we get to this part, I'm going to talk to you about this, but that's the end of that stage, and this is the rest of the magazine. Okay, so opening this up, this will actually be quite a quick stage. We've got 2 speakers to put in, so that's going to fit flat in there, and it's going to be held in from the other side with an AP screw. Then I've got a control board above it, which has got some little switches on it, as you can see. Again, this has got a locating lug, so it can only go in one way, held in with an AP screw. Now, even though we've put switches and speakers in, you're not really going to see much of it, because bringing over the floor pan and bringing it up, probably best on the top camera here. Let me just rotate that round. This is going to go in this way, just into this port like this. So when this is in, I don't know if you can see this. You can just about see the switches and the speaker. When the seat's back, it's going to hide that pretty good. But I'm going to put this into place with BP screws this time. Right. Now this section here, you are going to have an intimate relationship with you, because the whole heart of the car is on this section. This is where the control panel goes in. Every electric that I've got here, as you can see, is going to go into the control board. But as you see, we've just put 2 screws in there. We can't put a control board on top of that, because it's going to short circuit if we do that, which is why we've got this adhesive strip. And it's very important that we ensure this covers those screws. If you don't do this, you're going to have a bad time. So its only job is to ensure that those screws have no contact with the circuit board that we're about to put in the next stage. So there we go, that's in place. Now that other speaker I've got is going to go onto the driver's side here, and we're just going to be pushing that into the back here. Just make sure the seat's forward. So we do have 2 speakers. Funny, I can't remember putting the other speaker in last time. Once again, that's going to be held in with an AP screw just through this side. And then with that in place, that is all there is to do in that stage. So we're now on the last stage of this pack, stage 56, and this has got some wires in here, and we've got the circuit board. So I'm going to be plugging all of these wires that come in this stage into the circuit board just like this, as you can see, and then securing the circuit board in place. And then some of the wires that are coming out the underneath side of the floor pan, we're also going to plug into that. Oh, loads to do. All about the electrics. Now, I think, as you can see, we've got the bulkhead, which is eventually going to house the flux capacitor, and we do have the Christmas tree in the next pack. But I think this, and when we start to put all the cables in, is the most important part of this build if you want your electrics to work. So I'm going to do this quite slowly. So here is stage 56 here, and we've got some screws. This is what the circuit board's looking like. And if you have a look at the other side, if you can see all of those solder points there, now you can see why we had to hide those screw heads, because they will bridge those and short circuit the thing. Don't want that. What we are going to do is we're going to be taking these cables that we've got here, and they are all numbered, as you can see. We've got number 1. And I need to put this into the control board here. Now, as you see, the number 1 is stamped on the side of the plug. We need to make sure that when we put this into the number 1 position, which I've just done there, it's facing us like that. So the number 1, if we're holding it like that, we can see. Again, if you put that in the wrong way round, it's not going to work. So that's number 1. And just continue doing this for all the other plugs that we've got numbers for. So number 3, again, make sure the number's facing me. I'll put that into number 3 position. Number 2, doing exactly the same. Number 4. That one's in, and again on the top camera, again make sure that they go all the way to the bottom of that post, as you can see. Then we've got number 7, so we're skipping a few and putting number 7 in. Actually, we're skipping 2, putting number 7 in. Then number 13 I've got here, which is going to go on the very end. And before I put any more in, just so you can see, that is how mine are looking at the moment. Okay. Now when I turn it round, again, number 20, we want to make sure the number 20 is facing us from this way. So find number 20 position there. Probably best to count in. So leave 3 plugs and put it in the 4th, because they are slightly offset, these numbers are. So number 20 is in the 4th pin in from the right. But as you can see, it is facing me. So that's how we can ensure it's that way round. And then I'm going to be putting 21 just next to it, like this. And that's all the cables we're getting this into place. Right, let's open these screws, which are FP screws. Bring over what we've created here, and on the top camera, I think you can see how this is going to go. This is going to go into this position just there, and it's going to be held in with 4 FP screws into those corners. And there you go, that's the control board securely into place, and that is how that should look. Okay, now I've got a lead 40J, which is marked with a number 5. So I'm just looking for that now. That's this one here. Again, you can probably see it on the top camera. I'm going to plug that into port 5. Again, making sure that the number on this side is facing me. Then I'm looking for a yellow and brown wire, which is stamped with a number 18. Got that here. That's going to go on the other side, but remember the number's pointing in this direction on this side. Then I need the yellow and white wire here, which is labelled number 17, as you can see there. And again, push that in, numbers facing away from me. And then this yellow and black wire here, which should be stamped with a number 14 here, that's just going to go onto the very end plug over this side here. So the only plug that we haven't put in of the old one, sorry, is this ribbon cable here. That's still out. But I want to just show you again how this is looking. So on the control board, as you can see on the top side, the numbers are facing in this direction, looking like that. And then on the bottom side, if I turn that around, the numbers should be facing there like that. And that is all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. Now, the reason that I'm going into so much detail of that is when we come to piece the car together, you're never going to be able to get to these wires. It's important that we're going to keep them tidy as well. And we need to make sure we've got excess lengths of these wires when the actual bodywork goes on, because we're going to be connecting the bodywork to this and plugging in these wires as well. But this is the heart of it. They do go in quite tight, so they're not really going to fall out. So once you've got them in, they should be secure in there. But once you get that right, the rest of the build's not going to be too hard, okay, until stage 91. But don't panic about that one. When we come to that, I will talk you through it. We'll do it together. We'll hold hands and go through that one together. Anyway, that's that pack done today. Once again, if you do want to get this for yourself, you will have to check your territory to see if this is available. But I have put a link in the video description, and there's also a QR code on the screen. But I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.